This is a hot tub that I actually reclaimed. I've been doing hot tubs for over 30 years. There's nothing like a Redwood Hot Tub, folks. You can sit in a Tupperware spa. You never get the same soak. When you sit in a Redwood Hot Tub, the water's up to your neck. It's 4 foot deep. And just the shape of it, the jets. This thing is super high performance. We've got 2 5 horsepower pumps, one on either side. It's got a 50 square foot jacuzzi filter. It's got a 2 horsepower Mariah air blower, and it kicks, man. When this thing's running, I'll show you the action. We tested it out last night. I've got to put some valves in and redirect some flow to optimize the pressure of the individual jets. Essentially what you can see is we're now in the process of framing this sucker, and the deck's going to have a 3 foot overhang. There'll be an overhang over here. It'll be cantilevered on all sides. There will be a Redwood hot tub sitting here and a cedar sauna sitting where that pile of wood is. The idea here is to have the thermal mass from the boiler over there, which is fed by firewood from over there, usually every night. But there's over 2,000 pounds of thermal mass sitting here. Once all this is hot and warm, it'll all be enclosed with a deck over it. That propane tank will not be there. It's just sitting there temporary. The propane tank will be up here near the sauna, and so that's the idea. So one of the things you want to remember, if you're doing a hot tub, do it right. Don't electrocute yourself. Hire an electrician if you don't know what you're doing. This is not a game. The easiest thing is to buy some Tupperware, which is a plastic spa, and you plug it in. So this is a little more complex. It's got multiple plumbing systems, filtration, and then we've got purification, which there's a clear water ionizer. This puts copper and silver ions in the water. Way back when the settlers would go across the country, they'd throw a silver and a copper coin in the barrels, and as the wagon moved going down the trail, it would actually move around on the bottom, and the coins would touch each other and generate actually a little minute electrical charge, and the silver and copper ions in the water would keep algae from growing. So that's what that is right there. This here is a Delzone Spa Eclipse automatic ozonator sanitation system. What it does is it puts ozone through this tube into an injection system into the pump. The pump's running, the water comes up, and it's very, very well insulated. Essentially you have 2x4 walls, 2 inches of foam. This it's basically a vapor seal, but it's also a radiant barrier. There's 2 layers of bubble wrap in here. Because it's got an airspace, that's how this stuff works. You gotta have that airspace, folks. You can't just put this stuff over a wall and expect it to work. The airspace is what makes it work. It's a radiant barrier as well as a vapor barrier. I installed this to cut down on the chance of mold growing under here. And the bottom is just dirt. We are blessed to live in rocky mountains, so a lot of rocks and gravel. Our soil drains really well. So I didn't pour a slab or anything to set the tub on. It's just sitting on the ground. So I just basically excavated the side of this hill, put in some water, ran an electrical system over from my powerhouse to feed all this. So we're running basically a 50 amp GFI service at the main over there where the electrical power comes in. I'm now on the grid doing this on alternative energy. There's no way you could run 10 horsepower unless you want to spend 100 grand on solar panels. So my battery bank was getting old, and I tried some different remedies. I'm going to try to see if I can restore it. I was hoping to get out on fire so I can replace the battery bank. They're very expensive. So another thing this thing has is a spa control. There's a thermostatic deal here, and down there is a freeze protector. control. It's a probe. So what the FC5SS99240 spot control does is a freeze protector. So whatever I set that probe at, and that's going into the boiler, by the way. This is a propane boiler. It runs on propane. It's 105,000 BTU Ray pack. This is 500 gallons of water in this hot tub. It's a Redwood Hot Tub. Very nice. It's got 2x4 staves. There's a little finger joint in there. Very nice hot tub. So it's all clear redwood. And it's on a automatic timer. It turns on and off. It runs for an hour, every hour. Or every 2 hours it turns on for an hour. It doesn't draw much power on low speed. Now you can do the same thing. Snorkel Stoves makes, you know, a deal where you can put the heater in there. It's kind of crazy. I'll show you a better way to do it. You take a 55-gallon barrel with some pipe, put the barrel in a box, frame it with angle iron, you bolt Dura-Rock to it, you fill it with rocks and sand, you line your 55-gallon barrel with fire brick, and then you come in through the top with some pipe. It's got to be steel so it won't melt. I designed a secondary combustion system. That's what that third pipe is. There's a slide in there. I can pull it back and forth, and what that does is when this thing's running hot, I can introduce secondary combustion. So just by sliding that and closing it, and it traps the gases in the top. Once they hit 2,000 degrees, they'll start burning. So basically there's no smoke. Now, how am I going to insulate this? Good question. My 2x4s are 6 inches on, or 16 on center. There'll be 3 inches of foam in between, and then there will be an inch of foam on top, and then there will be 3/4 inch wood on top of that, which will put me pretty close to here. Why am I using foam? You don't want to use fiberglass insulation. The reason you don't is if it gets wet, you got problems. Now I do have fiberglass insulation on the wall. You notice they're wrapped in plastic. They'll have this vapor over the top to act as a vapor or a seal, and then these will be blocked in between, and then underneath the tub, underneath will be this stuff. I've got to have access, so I'll have to climb in under here to gain access to either side. That's something you want to make sure that you do. If you notice, also you'll see my my heater is actually set up off the floor. I do that a couple reasons. Number one, I don't want the body of the boiler to rust. It's more prone to rust on the ground. I use a foam, piece of foam, then a piece of Dura-Rock, built a little stand, put it on top of that. If this tub was ever to blow a line, you pump 500 gallons of water, you could have that much water. So I don't want it also flooding. Same thing with the 2 jacuzzi pumps. Look at them, they are up off the ground. Couple reasons. Number one, if we ever blow a line, we're not going to have submerged electrical equipment. That's a good recipe for disaster. That's how you get electrocuted. So put your pumps above whatever the highest water level. I tested this, opened the lines, and just flooded it. It got about that, half that, and because my soil drains really well. So, but I'm not taking any chances. So anyhow, that's kind of how it's set up. And then you got your blower. It has to be above, at least a foot above the water level, so that it doesn't submerge itself when you get in the hot tub. Something to think about. You can see the blower over there, and you can see the hot tub. So it's sitting about a foot above the water level. So anyhow, different factors. You want to be able to drain your lines in the wintertime if you have to shut it down. My idea is this thing will still be working at 50 below zero with the insulation factor. You got another high density foam out here between the soil. So step-by-step project. This is Woody from Obadiah's, just wanting to share what I'm doing. As I always say, this is what I did. This is not how you do this. This is what I did. If you do it your way, I'm not responsible for you guys hooking anything up wrong and electrocuting yourself. I'm trying to show you the right way to do it. It's up to you to do that. So don't sue me if something happens and you do it wrong. And here's my mountain goat pug about ready to slide down the hill. So this is Woody from Obadiah's saying adios from Montana.